guys. So today I'll be talking about what I had to do to actually make it to a quarantine accommodation in Bangkok and make it to Thailand. So the process was long, I'm not gonna lie, but it was really straightforward. So the first thing I had to do was get my visa. So I was able to get TR visa, which is a tourist visa. And for that, I had to send obviously my passport, sort of standard passport photos. I had to show my flight tickets, and I had to show my reservation or proof of reservation after quarantine. So not actually the quarantine accommodation, but the reservation after. Once I got that, they literally stamped my passport within a week, so it was really fast, luckily. And because I was flying literally a few days later, I wasn't able to get my COE in Australia, and I asked them if it was okay for me to get it somewhere else, in this case Dubai, and they said that was fine because you do it online. So once you get to that step of getting your confirmation of entry to the kingdom, you have to go online to a website called COE Thailand. I'm not too sure about the full name, but I'll put it on the description below. So once you go there, it is very self-explanatory as well. As of now, as of April 1st, they have made a few changes. So you do not need a fit to fly certificate anymore unless your airline requires it, obviously, but not for Thailand, which that's great. If you're vaccinated, if you have been vaccinated within 3 months before your flight, then you're eligible to do 7-day quarantine. If you've been vaccinated and if you're coming from a country that is on the green list or is not on the red list for Thailand, then you're able to do 10 days. Which that's what I'm doing. I was able to do 10, which is actually 11 days from the day you stay on your first night. So for your COE, once you start the application, you actually have to get it pre-approved. And for the pre-approved process, you have to get 3 things. So you have to get your medical insurance, which is an insurance that covers up to 100 or minimum 100,000 US dollars. One that covers COVID, and that covers the whole stay of your staying in Thailand. You also have to have a scan of your visa, and also a scan of your passport copy. So you get those 3 things. It wouldn't be a bad idea to actually upload more documents in there, because they will ask for them once you get it pre-approved. So if, for example, you have a reservation of your hotel after quarantine, then it's not a bad idea to show it, because they will ask for it also. And there is one option that actually allows you to upload more than 2 documents. So that's where you can show that if you want a bit more proof for your application. But to get it pre-approved is fairly easy. Once you upload the 3 things that they ask for, they will get it pre-approved within a week, or literally just 2 days or 3 days. Once you get that done, you have to get to the next step, which is the confirmation step. They will tell you what you need to upload. So what I had to upload was that's by then you would have already booked your quarantine accommodation, and I do recommend getting your quarantine accommodation literally from the day you're going to start applying. And that's because it is quite tricky. It's not as easy as just going to booking.com and making a booking for a hotel. You actually have to go to different government approved websites to do this. But there's one where you can actually contact the hotel directly, and then the hotel responds and then they send you all the prices and whether they're available. So that's what I did. So when I did that, I actually applied for a hotel that was called Citrus 13, I believe. I'm not too sure. And they got back to me, but because they didn't have accommodation, they actually told me there was another hotel owned by the same person that did have availability. And that's the one I'm in today. Today I'm in the Park Plaza Bangkok Hotel, which is by Radisson. And it was one of the cheapest hotels out there. And so far I've been really, really happy with the service, but I'll tell you about that in a different video. So once I booked my quarantine accommodation and I paid and did everything, I actually uploaded obviously that. Then I had to upload, obviously everything was uploaded already, the medical insurance, the passport copy, the visa copy. Then it got rejected twice. The first time it got rejected, don't panic. It doesn't mean it's done. It just means you have to upload a few more documents. So the first thing is they needed a copy of my vaccination certificate, because I am fully vaccinated. But I got vaccinated on the 29th, and they needed to make sure that I was fully vaccinated in order for me to do 10 days quarantine and not 14 days like before. So I uploaded that, and then it got rejected again, and this time it was because of my insurance, and I think it was because it said it was covering UAE and also Thailand perhaps. But I'm not too sure why they rejected it at first. I actually had to call the consulate in Dubai and explain them the situation, tell them that this insurance was covering everything that they required. The lady told me to send an email to them, but when I went back into the website to see my results, suddenly it was approved. So I think she must have done something to get it sorted, and that's it. Obviously I did use almost the 15 days with the 2 times that it got rejected, so I do recommend getting that literally on day 1, or once you know when you're flying, literally get it on the first day of the 15 days so that you have time to upload more things if necessary. So that's essentially what they ask for. Just a little bit about quarantine. Like I said, I do recommend getting it before. Sometimes hotels don't have availability, so you might get a little bit stressed if you're getting closer to the day. So get that done. Yeah, and that's about it. That's what I had to do to get here. But if you have any more questions about what I had to do, please just ask me on the comments down below. One thing I do want to mention is that when I arrived to Thailand, everything was so organized. So I do recommend you also to obviously have everything printed. And before I forget, once you get your COE approved, they actually send you an email saying, telling you what you need to have for your flight. And like I said, you don't need the fit to fly certificate anymore, which is great, but they will send you a T8 form, which you have to fill out. It's essentially just a questionnaire of different things and where you're staying after your quarantine accommodation as well. So you have to have your T8, you need to have your PCR 72 hours before your flight, you need to have your medical insurance, you need to have your COE printed, you obviously need to have your visa stamps, and that's it. But have it printed, because they will ask you a few times for it. Once you arrive, you'll see how organized it is. There's different points that you have to go through before actually getting your passport stamps. So first you have a nurse or someone asking for your papers, just to filling out. They fill up a few things, they give you a badge that says ASQ, you have to put it on your jacket, And then after that you go to the health officer or health minister, and they ask you a few questions. For me, they asked me about my COVID certificate, the actual certificate. So I had to show them that. I had everything with me, so I showed them my COVID certificate. I don't think you can see it there. And after that, you go to another step where they ask you more about where you're staying. They take a few pictures of you. That's something I did notice through the whole process. Even getting into the hotel, they took a lot of photos of me. Even when I was getting in the car to go to the hotel, they took photos of me in the car. They took photos of the driver. And when I arrived to the hotel, they took photos of me in the car again, I think. And then in the hotel, physically in the hotel as well, with my passport on the side. But yeah, everything's really organized. And then once you've went through all those steps, eventually you do get to border control, or where they stamp your passport. And that's the place where they'll keep the COE with them. So you literally will leave with your insurance and your PCR. So that's what I have so far. That's what I have left. And then I made it. And I'll tell you a bit more about the whole process of getting inside the hotel and how it's been on a different video.